Ever had a neighbor call the police on you for parking in your own driveway? Picture this: silk robe, stomping across the lawn at dawn, perfume stinging your nose as she hammers on your window like you're a criminal. 5 minutes later, a patrol car rolls in, and the officer salutes her. "Morning, Chief." Her smile freezes as she realizes she's just dialed 911 on the county's new police chief. But that was only the opening move in a months-long chess match that would end with the FBI hauling her off in handcuffs, live at a town council meeting. I'm Garrett Bo Boone, Chief of Police in Willow Ridge County. This story has false complaints, forged surveys, cut fences, broken sprinklers, poisoned pets, phony ethics charges, political intrigue, mortgage fraud across 5 states, and a community that refused to be bullied. So if you like stories like this, like and subscribe for more. My name's Garrett Boone, but everyone calls me Bo. At 43, I'd spent 18 years on the force, and 6 months ago, I took the reins as chief of police in my hometown of Willow Ridge. Pop. 67,000. I bought my late mother's ranch house on Oakmont Drive. Chain link fences, oak trees dropping leaves onto L-shaped driveways. I parked my forest green '85 Bronco on the pad the same way she'd let neighbors turn around for decades. Until Cassidy Whitmore moved next door. Cassidy was 51, a luxury real estate consultant with platinum blonde hair and French tips, an outrageously leased Mercedes, and an attitude bigger than her white-columned colonial. First week, barked at me to trim my century-old oak because its leaves cluttered her yard. I offered to rake daily, she just narrowed her eyes. I'm sure there's a more permanent solution. 3 weeks later, after a night shift, I pull in at 6 a.m., coffee in hand, engine still idling, when Cassid marches over in her robe. "Eyesore," she snaps. "Move it." I pointed out it was my driveway. No HOA, fully registered. She stomped off. I thought that was the end of it. It wasn't. That evening, I returned from groceries. Cassidy's already out, phone in hand, dialing 911. "Suspicious vehicle blocking access. I feel threatened." Dispatcher Stella recognized my address, my old partner. I called non-emergency. "Send someone down," I said. Cassidy glared at me. "You're lying." 10 minutes later, Officer McNally shows, my former partner. "Chief, need anything?" he asked, calm as ever. Cassidy went white. "I want your supervisor." "Ma'am," he said, "you're talking to him." That night, I realized she wouldn't stop. I opened my laptop and began assembling a file. Dates, times, photos, witness statements. Every time she dialed 911 on a perfectly legal situation. Over the next 10 days, Cassidy shifted tactics. Saturday morning, I mow my lawn with an electric mower at 10 quaus. She rings dispatch with a noise complaint. Officer Ramirez confirms it's legal. Logged. Next, I come home. There's a survey crew in my yard hired by Cassidy, claiming my fence was encroaching. I pull my certified survey. Fence is exactly where it belonged. He frowned, packed up. 2 days later, she mails me a demand to tear down the fence or she'll sue. My attorney friend crafted a response with the original permit and survey, suggesting she verify her surveyor's credentials. I later discovered his company thrived on manufactured disputes. Then I spent my weekend installing a sprinkler system. Monday, 3 heads stomped to fragments. Footprints clear in the soft soil. Cassidy's nephew claimed credit for an idiotic accident. I photographed everything, had Deputy Chen file a vandalism report. Harassment, he said. I agreed. Document every thread. Not content with that, Cassidy discovered Facebook. She posted about a threatening police chief intimidating neighbors. No names, but my house unmistakably in the background. Some newcomers liked it. Then, Mrs. Delroy, my retired third-grade teacher who's known me 43 years, shut it down. Garrett Boone never caused trouble. 15 neighbors piled on. Cassidy deleted the post within the hour. I'd already screenshot everything. I noticed a pattern. Every complaint, noise, encroachment, strange surveyors happened when I was in uniform, coming home or heading out. That night, I requested all dispatch logs for my address. 11 calls in 30 days, all from Cassidy's number. 0 legitimate complaints. I added the call records to my binder. It was growing fast. Next, Cassidy courted County Supervisor Brent Hollister, owner of car dealerships, eyeing a state Senate seat. She spun me as a corrupt cop, and Hollister leaked her ethics complaint against me to the local paper. Police chief under investigation. Front page Wednesday. My response? A 47-page dossier with every call log, surveillance photo, witness statement, officer's testimony, and audio recordings of her false 911 calls. I filed it with the county board, but the damage was done. Accusation on page 1, exoneration on page 7 2 weeks later. She tried again. An anonymous letter to every city council member accusing me of personal use of patrol vehicles. Hardware store visits, coffee shop stops. Investigators checked receipts. Hardware store trip was for emergency rescue gear. Coffee shop meeting was to interview a victim of local break-ins. Still, the inquiry dragged on. Death by 1,000 cuts. She had me tailed on Route 9 in her Mercedes. I'd see her dented quarter panel 3 cars back. I got a manila envelope on my door with photos of me in uniform climbing into my Bronco, tons of them, plus a note, "No special treatment for you." I called for all 911 and non-emergency logs. They confirmed the pattern. Then she poisoned Mrs. Delroy's elderly beagle, Biscuit, with slug bait pellets. Cassidy posted on Facebook, "Neighborhood pet poisoner on the loose. I never use pesticides." My doorbell cameras recorded Cassidy's nephew spreading bait on her side. Wind blew it into the neighbor's yard. Mrs. Delroy posted the video. The neighborhood turned against Cassidy. 2 days later, my brother Marcus visits with his twin girls. I hear a knock. Child Protective Services had received a report claiming the kids played unsupervised by a dangerous person with weapons. The investigator recognized my address, saw the girls were fine, and closed the case in 15 minutes. But Marcus was rattled. That CPS note could haunt his custody battle. Contractors began standing me up. A roofer, gutter cleaner, HVAC tech. All text messages from a number nearly identical to mine said the jobs were canceled, spoofed. My repairs stalled. Then my mail stopped arriving. 3 days straight. At the post office, the carrier admitted someone matching Cassidy's description picked it up, claiming to be my wife. I'm single. Mail theft is federal. Proving it without footage was tricky, but bills went unpaid. Insurance lapsed. Taxes overdue. On the 45th day, while burning the midnight oil at the station, I confirmed her house was listed at $615,000, paid $490,000 6 months earlier. She was desperate to flip at a huge profit. She tried to tow my Bronco at 3 a.m. on the street, offering the driver cash to drag it away quietly. I showed registration, badge, and the work order with her signature. He drove off embarrassed. I documented the attempted theft. Day 58, the county board cleared me of all ethics charges, dismissed with prejudice. But the front page accusation persisted in people's minds. I started digging into Cassidy's past. 3 lawsuits in Arizona, Nevada, California, disappearing deposits, evictions, fraud judgments, a 2023 bankruptcy dismissed for hidden assets. She moved every 2 years, leaving wreckage behind. I discovered she'd lied about her income to secure her mortgage, a federal crime. Mortgage fraud on a stated income loan. I called Agent Yolanda Reeves of the FBI's White Collar Division, an old partner on a bank fraud case. She agreed to help. We devised a plan. I'd keep documenting every harassment incident while she prepared parallel federal charges for wire fraud and state charges for vandalism, false reports, harassment. I installed POE security cameras covering every approach to my property, drives, mailbox, front yard. I recruited Mrs. Delroy as my neighborhood intel officer. Through her, I gathered statements from the Aonquos, false business report, the Kowalskis, hoop nuisance, Gary Tinsdale, son accused of scratching her car. All bogus complaints. I compiled it with call logs, survey disputes, surveillance, contractor ghosting, fence demands, poison dog, tow attempts, CPS visit, mail theft, hundreds of pages. On day 96, Cassidy filed an agenda item for the town council meeting, police accountability, with a PowerPoint alleging I abused my badge. Perfect. I asked my neighbors to attend. 30 plus confirmed, more than the usual crowd of 15. The FBI stashed evidence in an unmarked van. Local deputies stood by outside. Supervisor Hollister even showed up to support her, never suspecting. At 7 p.m., the council convened as usual. Routine business first, then public comment. Cassidy strode to the podium, slides cued, camera rolling. Chief Boone has used his position to harass me. I demand his suspension. 30 seconds in, the back door opened. 3 agents in FBI windbreakers entered. Cassidy froze. Cassidy Whitmore, you're under arrest for wire fraud, bank fraud, and false statements to federally insured institutions. She tried to scream, "You set me up!" But agents read her Miranda rights and snapped on handcuffs. The room went silent. I stood and walked to the mic. For clarity, I never filed any complaint leading to this. The FBI reached out weeks ago about a multi-state investigation. I merely provided evidence. What you witnessed was justice served. I submitted the city engineer's certificate proving my parking was legal, the call logs of her false reports, and witness statements. Applause broke out. Neighbors swarmed me, shaking my hand. Mrs. Delroy beamed. That woman is a con artist. Members of the press scribbled furiously. Supervisor Hollister slunk out, caught on camera. Cassidy was held without bail. Parallel prosecutions moved swiftly. 2 weeks later, she pleaded guilty. Sentence: 6 years federal, 3 years supervised release, $1.4 million restitution to victims in 5 states. Her house foreclosed, sold to the Aonquos for $425,000. Block party on Oakmont Drive followed. 40 families brought dishes. Kids played in my driveway, once notorious for 911 calls. The county board issued a public apology for weaponizing the ethics complaint. Supervisor Hollister quietly resigned. Department morale soared. I built the Good Neighbor Fund with $50,000 of her restitution, helping 8 families with legal fees, camera installations, court costs. 8 months later, I'm back to normal. My Bronco parked in the same spot. Security cams still recording. Weekends spent on carpentry. I sleep through the night again. I even started seeing someone new, a teacher from the community center. 1 year after that first 911 call, we held the annual block party. Mrs. Delroy teased me. "No one called the cops on you this year, right?" Laughter all around. A text buzzes. New neighbor 2 streets over demanding everyone change parking for her luxury SUV. I reply, "Let me know when you need the Good Neighbor Fund manual." Stronger together. If you've faced an entitled neighbor, HOA nightmare, or property dispute, drop your story in the comments. The wildest one will be featured next week. And if you'd like more stories like these, please like and subscribe.